Well, I don't think this changes any fortunes for Seattle, but considering the numbers, $55 million guaranteed, 3 years, $100 million, I can live with that. That's a number where you certainly can put pieces around it. They already have Jackson Smith and Jigma, pretty good running game, Kenneth Walker. So I think that's fine. I've said all along that I would not give big money. If I were another team, I would not give big money to Sam Darnold. They didn't give, relatively speaking, big money to him, but it's enough to keep him happy. It's kind of like the Baker Mayfield situation. Right. Baker had the one good year in Tampa Bay, and they rewarded him with a similar contract. So I'm fine with it because of the numbers, Nick. I'll be interested. If he has a great year this year, then I'll really be impressed, and I'll start giving him some props. He was great last year, but I thought he was in a great situation. He won't have that benefit this year, so it'll be interesting to see.
Yeah, and it is almost identical to the Baker deal, but it comes a year after the Baker deal. So when you kind of adjust for the NFL salary cap inflation, it is in the current market a better bargain than the Baker deal, which it should be because he's not as good of a quarterback as Baker Mayfield, and I don't think he's as good of a quarterback as Geno Smith. So I know he had a better year last year than Geno Smith. Seattle, this is a little puzzling to me. I think they pretty clearly just got worse at quarterback. Now, I know they got a second-round pick in the moving off Geno Smith's, and that is valuable. But it feels to me like this is a mistake teams make a little too often, which is falling in love with a guy who had a great game against you. The last great Sam Darnold moment, maybe the greatest Sam Darnold moment of his career, was the game against Seattle. That was where he made the best throw of his career. That was when he kind of thrusted himself into the edges of the MVP conversation. And so it feels to me like, and I understand the new offensive coordinator there, Clint Kubiak, they feel like he is going to, that Darnold maybe can run his scheme well, is I guess what I've read. I just think Geno Smith obviously has a much better body of work. I think he's a better player. He also, both of them have only been in one career playoff game. They both lost, but Geno in his playoff game at least acquitted himself fine, and he was clearly at a massive disadvantage playing the #1 defense in the league, San Francisco, a few years ago, and that wasn't the case for Darnold. So I don't understand Seattle's rationale here. I understand why Vegas wanted Geno because Pete Carroll's there. When I saw that Seattle was moving on from Lockett, moving on from Metcalf, moving on from Geno, I said, oh, okay, they're doing a kind of a quick turnaround rebuild, maybe looking quarterback in the draft or maybe looking bridge guy. This isn't really a bridge contract, so this is a little puzzling to me,